Alright everybody, welcome back to the channel. How are you guys doing today? Happy Sunday, by the way. So today we're discussing the problem that I have on my, let's sit right here, it's a good angle, on my Corvette, which is, I said I was going to talk about it. The steering wheel, it was throwing on the, and I'm going to show you, we're going to go inside the car and I will show you. The DIC, it's throwing service active handling. So as you guys know, I was at Monterey Car Week, an hour and a half from my house. I was driving cruise control on, music. I was just enjoying the cruise, and boom, then there's just the cruise control turns off, and I just try to put it back on and it doesn't work. I'm like, okay, you know what, that's probably a fuse. It was hot, it was in August, and maybe that's fuse, that happens. So I come back home, I check the fuse boxes, there is nothing. And right away it was starting throwing service active handling messages, and or active handling, and it's kind of started breaking, and the situation was getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. So I was procrastinating to take it into the dealership. I was like, you know what, it's gonna cost a lot of money. So, and by the way, let's switch hands here so I can show you a little bit. Let's just so right now I can explain. You see the car, I wiped it down, by the way. I'm like, you know what, I'm just so paranoid to take my car into the dealership because I just don't trust anybody to drive my car anywhere, or like rather walk on it. It's only few times I take it there to do some major services like fluids and all that stuff. So I waited and waited and waited. I looked online, I tried to do some research. I got the two codes. It was C1287H and C1288H. C1287, that was first. Then after a couple of months later, because I've been having the problem for 5 months, then 4 or 5 months later, then I started to have C1288H. Looked them up. Okay, a couple of people said grounds. I checked the grounds. Let me show you where's that. What else I checked? I was like, okay, my battery's bad then. Maybe that's showing sensors. By the way, that's the DIC right here, and that is the active handling right here. So I checked the grounds, checked the battery, and guess what? I didn't find anything wrong with them. I kept checking stuff, sensors here and there by myself. I do what I can do. I did what I understand it to do, but it did not do anything of that. I looked YouTube videos for days, and it's just, I couldn't find the problem. I could not find the problem. I was driving on the highway. Now keep in mind, the cruise control, it was working. One day I was driving from the car show that I go to here in Scottsdale, Arizona. It's not Scottsdale, but here in Phoenix, Arizona. I was in Scottsdale, driving back home, and surprisingly, I turned off the cruise to exit. Then I turned it back on to get on the highway again, and the other highway, then it just doesn't work. Stopped working. And the car was braking by itself, like it was applying the two front brakes when I'm not braking. Keep in mind, the cruise was not working. So I'm like, you know what, this is probably the EBCM. That's what I got to, which is right here. But my EBCM, it turned out to be fine because I don't have an ABS light on the dash. So it was the traction light, which is the steering wheel position sensor. That's what the code said, and I looked it up right there. In order to do that, let's just begin here. I took it to the dealership finally. I'm like, you know what, they have a free diagnosis. I took it to the dealership, then they checked me and they said the brakes, my rotors, they have ridges, like it's ridged, so it's not smooth, and my brakes were low, which they still low, but they're not that low, so I have some couple of miles to go before I replace them, but I already bought brakes and rotors, and I'm gonna do these later on. So what do you call it, I was like, okay, that's probably the issue. So without checking, I just bought them online, and I'm like, I'm gonna change these later. Never came. I kept looking, kept searching, kept looking. I resetted the car by take the terminal battery off the batteries and let it sit, resetted the computer a bunch of times. That did not solve it. I took the steering wheel sensor off the sensor itself, then I plugged it back in. That did not help it too. So the day comes, by the way, let me show you, hold on. The day comes, as I'm explaining here, kind of bad at explaining, so bear with me. It is the steering wheel position sensor, obviously, brake pedal, gas brake pedal, and this is the steering wheel position sensor right there. So I disconnected the plug, put it back in, did not do anything, alright? Yes, I still have the plastic on my car. I don't know, I take care of it. That did not help it, so it's in the car right here. So I had enough. I took it to the dealership. I'm like, you know what? Do diagnosis. It was the other day, and I will show you guys the parts. For anyone that has this problem, this is probably the same problem you're having if you have the traction light on, not the ABS. Currently the battery, I don't have the battery in the car because the battery is dead, but that's just something else that we're going to talk about. Not the ABS light, the traction light, which is this one. And if it says service active handling, you can check the grounds and the fuses, it's up to you. But that was my problem, and I want to explain how I solve it to help people out there who has a C5, C6, probably the same issue. So took it to the dealership. I paid for diagnosis. He goes like, you know what, they pulled the same code that I pulled, because you can do them from here through these buttons. You can do them through here. And he goes like, the steering wheel position sensor, it's not that bad yet, it's not completely failed. I'm like, okay, then how do I make it fail? Then he goes like, you have to drive it, shut it off, then drive it and shut it off, and until just it fails. I'm like, you know what, I don't care, I have the part, replace it. It was a couple $100. I don't know how much your dealer says if you had that problem and you went to ask, but it was a couple $100, and it was $540. But because I'm a club, I am a part of a club, Corvette club, I had discount. So I will show you the part right now. In fact, you guys like, we're gonna take a shot in the dark. I'm like, go ahead, replace it, I'm done dealing with this issue. And they did replace it, and guess what? Just guess what? It did actually work. That was the part right here, AC Delco, and I will show you. Hold on a second, I'll show you the part right here on this chair. By the way, I just put OEM parts in my car, because the best you can do, I work in a dealership, the best you can do, you put OEM parts. So that was, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know who's watching this, the steering wheel position sensor, and that was the original one. And I believe that's never been changed. So that stupid little thing, see, sensor, I hope you can see it right there. This is the part number. Mine is a 2001 C5 Corvette. Yes, I have an air rate intake, it's pretty cool. Believe it or not, it makes a difference. That's the, if you can pause it at this time and screenshot it. AC Delco right here. Let's see. That's other numbers. By the way, it was on, I got the paper right here. On, that's dealership paper, I will show you right now. On the dealership, it was 120, 150, 125. It depends on different dealerships I called, but I was able to find it for just under $100, $99 on Amazon, and I bought it. I'm like, you know what? The research that I did, that what happens, that's what everyone says. I'm like, let me just buy that sensor and go swap it. And if it did work, it did work. If it didn't work, I was gonna do the EBCM. Take it out, send it to the ABS fixer, and be done. And by the way, that's the ground that I cleaned. As you can see here, it's pretty clean, but you never know what's underneath the ground between the frame and the ground. It might look clean from up there, but under there you never know. So let's see right here. Free multi-point inspection, blah 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 blah, labor. And I don't know. Yep, $540. That's how much I paid. $540 with the discounts to replace the steering wheel position sensor on the Vette. AC Delco. Small little sensor. Obviously, if you have 97 to 2000, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know if they I don't know. I've heard people says that they don't sell those, or the EBCM, you cannot find a solution. But I'm sure if you do some research, you can find something. Maybe a rebuild EBCM, that if you had the ABS light on. But other than that, the problem is fixed right now, and this is gonna be more of one shot, one take. I'm gonna edit it and throw it away on YouTube. Battery, I don't have a battery right now. I cleaned underneath. See how nice that looks. Got my light right here. It's not working currently. Pretty cool light. By the way, I cleaned the Vette, so looks pretty nice under the hood, the engine. During this rough times, you know, it's boring sitting home on what's going on in the world, so you know, trying to make the best out of it. So anyways, if you have this problem, I'm just trying to explain, and that's why I made a YouTube channel. Hopefully the wind doesn't make it bad noise in the video, but if it did, I'm sorry. Try to share my thoughts with people, because social media doesn't give you over a minute. That's the max it gives you, a minute. And I wanted to make my very own small YouTube channel, so I can share with the world what I do to the Vette, what's the problems we go through, how do you solve it. Because this wasn't a DIY video, I couldn't do it. You had to pull the steering wheel column, which is right here. And honestly, shout out to the dealership that I did it at. It never looked like it was open, and you have to open a couple of bolts and you have to pull the steering column. So there you go. It was not an easy job. Even I asked the tech that worked on it, he was like, it was a pain. It was a pain. Go ahead and right now it's solved. I drove it home, never had any issues. 30 miles. Go ahead and, by the way, go ahead and follow my Instagram, Hussein. This is wrong because I'm gonna place this. I changed my Instagram name, Hussein.abd. Then there is number 1, ABD, and then there is number 1, and you see the Vette on the Instagram logo. My Snapchat is Hussein, Hussein. There in the link in the description. And other than that, I'm trying to do my seat and pretty minor stuff here and there, and hopefully it doesn't go wrong. C5s are solid car, from the LS1 to the diff to the trans. Pretty solid car, pretty aero. You know, everyone says you cannot beat these cars right now today for the money. I mean, you can pick one from anywhere, depends on how clean it is, between 15 and 25,000. Depends how clean it is. I don't know, maybe modified or not modified. But I'm just here to share my message and share the good news, bad news, ugly, what happened with the people, share my journey. And I love YouTube, and I love making videos. Pretty cool videos, not like this just sitting around here. This is my neighbor, and you have pretty cool stuff here. And that's pretty much it. Hopefully when kind of cools down around with this virus thing, we can go make rallies and trips. Other than that, please guys, subscribe, and I don't know what's next video. We're gonna think of something cool in the next video. Maybe walk around, I don't know, donuts. I don't know. I'm just dragging along here. Please subscribe, hit that thumbs up button, and turn on the notifications so you know when I drop a new video. And I'm pretty sure it will be cool. I'm gonna have to think about something cool I'm dragging here, and that's it. Sensor, Corvette. Peace.